welcome to the show, Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Girard, and of course, we have special guests this afternoon. You're going to have, I think you're in for a treat, at least for the first few minutes of the show. We're going to learn a little bit about what's going on right here in Santa Clarita. It's called the Home and Garden Tour, and it's coming up, or Memorial Garden Tour, sorry. But it is about homes and gardens, and it's happening right here in Santa Clarita, and the dates that we have coming up, joining us are going to be, let's bring it up, Sunday, May 1st. Folks, I did this last year. My wife and I had a great time. Got a chance to see some of the different plants and trees. And one of the most amazing things to this is right here in Santa Clarita, we have access to quite a bit of talent, folks that really know what they're doing. I'm going to let them introduce themselves as they say hello to you. But of course, first, Lima, tell us a little bit about the Memorial Garden Tour. It's coming up.
Okay, well, we're very excited. It is in our 10th year. So this was started 10 years ago by Christy Larson. And I'm going to let Julie get into more of the details on that. But it is a wonderful event. It's a fundraising event, but voluntary donations. We just invite visitors to visit up to 10 gardens. And these are garden enthusiasts, self-educated people like myself who just have a passion and love for gardening. And it's an opportunity to spend a wonderful day here in Santa Clarita visiting gardens and hopefully learning quite a bit from each one of us. You'll find a lot of different styles of gardens, and that's what we're very excited to share with attendees that come to each of our homes, is that whether you have a small space, whether you have a larger 1 acre estate, whatever you might have, you will hopefully take away something from each of the gardens that are featured on the tour this year.
And Julie, this year we have a drought-tolerant emphasis, as we did last year, of course. And tell us a little bit about that. Tell me.
We do. We actually have a garden that was able to submit some plans to the water agencies, and were able to take advantage of those rebates, and it was several $1,000s. So they took out their entire front yard. They also took out their backyard, and they were able to replace it with drought tolerant, and then did some raised flower beds, and they have a wonderful vegetable garden.
Nice.
The whole backyard is really something to see. The front yard's very attractive. Lots of color. You wouldn't expect it to be that way with drought-tolerant plants.
These are all regional plants as well, right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
They're regional type plants, stuff
Yes.
that's native, I guess we would call it.
Native, sure.
And so in that particular instance, is there an education process that happens as families or people come through where they can learn how to do this themselves?
Yes, actually several, including Lima, will publish a list. Will you be doing your list this year?
I sure will.
If not, she is now.
No, I sure will. It's
Put
Put her on the
pressure.
spot.
I sure will. I always do. And I do, and I think maybe some of the other homes too, as well as just talking about the plants and their designs, is my list basically provides a lot of plants that I use repeatedly throughout the garden. And there are some California natives in there, but there are also a lot of just simply drought-tolerant, environmentally correct plants that people should be planting in their gardens out here.
And I think one of the things that I really admired the most last year was to learn how you can actually get the most from a small plot of land. In other words, you used to think that, you needed vast sums of acreage to plant any substantial amount of vegetables or fruit or color, but there's ways to learn how to terrace a backyard.
Oh,
we saw
yes.
one gentleman who had amazing fruit trees. I don't know how many.
Oh, the Stewart family. He has a tree this year that has 14 different varieties of fruit on one tree.
And that's called
It's
grafting.
amazing.
I
Yes.
grew up learning how to do this, and my dad has an amazing talent for that, where he would take on the various citrus plants and have that layered throughout the process.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting when he walked me through that. I had never seen two different fruits on the same type of tree. And is that something you guys show people how to do on the?
Actually, Tony has
At
a
the
wealth of
Memorial?
knowledge with that. It's the
Okay.
Stewart home that you're referring to. And
Yes.
it is kind of startling when you walk up at first and you notice the orange tree, and you're like, why are there grapefruits on that orange tree?
Right.
And then what are these lemons doing here?
Yeah.
It confuses you at first because people don't think of it that way. And then all of a sudden you start looking around and seeing the possibilities. When you can have one tree in your yard, why not really make it something?
And why would somebody do that? Why would someone graft two different fruits on a tree versus having two different trees? Is it just maintenance, preference,
I would think
fun?
space. Space would probably
Okay.
be a primary issue.
And the fruits often blossom at the same time, but then you also have seasonal ones, so you almost always have something different coming on board.
Yes, Tony Stewart is very clever. On his trees, he likes to have something coming at all times.
Nice.
And it's the same tree in the same spot, although...
Oh, yeah, there's various other trees there, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he has, it must be 3 layers of a terrace, maybe 4 back there.
Yes. Yes, he was actually pretty clever in that design as well. When he terraced it, his avocado trees, he planted each of them on either side of the balcony, so he can simply pick his fruit from the balcony. He also has a hydroponics garden up there as well.
You know, when I went to Sevilla, Spain, I'm going to share this with you. Sevilla, Spain, many years ago, my wife and I walked through the Alhambra, which is the old Moor, which is the Arab castle, which is now, of course, in Spain, and it's where the king and queen still currently go, and it's one of their castles. But what they did is they built all their fruit trees about 10 feet apart and about 6 or 8 feet below the ground. Or maybe they built the castle up, however they did it. So you could walk and you're strolling along and you just reach out and you're grabbing from the middle and the tops of the fruit trees as you went along. It was amazing. And
Very
of course,
clever.
Brilliant.
Of course, Tony did the same thing. Or the Stewart family.
The Stewart family, Tony
yes.
Stewart, yeah.
Did the same thing as where he sat on one of the terraces and you can reach out and you're grabbing from the one in front.
Oh, yeah.
It's
You
amazing.
can reach out and grab from just about any place you're walking through there.
Yeah, that was fun. So one of the other things that we're looking at, Lima, tell me about your garden this year.
Okay. Well, my garden, as described, I think, in the program, is ever-changing. and that's a good thing. I think a garden should be that. I think anybody that, tries to do it all at once, sometimes that's a little bit of a challenge. And as our climate changes, and as we've all seen, our climates have changed. Season after season, we're getting a little bit drier, and we got not so much rain. We have to adapt to those changes. And so my garden is a front garden design, which I'm very excited to share with visitors that come by, because it's not something you see that often. People are doing it a little bit more now, given the incentives by the water agency, as Julie had mentioned, with one of the families who took advantage of that. But it was really a desire of mine about 12 years ago. So the garden, when people come, it's really my front garden that I'm very excited about. And it shows that you can have drought-tolerant plants, have no lawn whatsoever, and have a beautiful, lush, very welcoming entrance to your home. And that's what I love about it. I grew up in Hollywood and in a bungalow-style home, and most of the homes had that kind of look. And so it's a very natural feel garden. If I invite those that are looking for more of an understated look, they sometimes refer to my garden as the wild garden because it's very natural and it's very free-flowing, and I like to leave a garden in its natural state. That's my design style. But you're going to see so many different others on the tour that may prefer a more manicured look, a more traditional look, a more English garden look, a more tropical theme, what have you. But mine is just really a very natural setting where I find it very peaceful.
So Julie, tell us, how do we find out more information about the garden in the upcoming event?
You're going to go to www.memorialgardentour.org.
memorialgardentour.org.
Yes.
And we can find out the different locations. We can visit one, we can visit 10,
Yes,
we can
actually,
visit whatever
it's a
we'd like.
self-guided tour, so you can go to any of them. They're not in any particular order. You can go ahead and take a look at the program and view all the information that the homeowners have listed and just to see which one is the most appealing to you, and then just start going.
So tell me why it's a Memorial Garden Tour, and who is this benefiting?
This is actually benefiting. We've had some changes this year. Prior years before, we were our donations were going to the Wounded Warrior Project, and then we found that there were some issues with the monies getting to where we thought it was going. So now we are supporting TAPS as well as Wounded Warrior Family Support, and then we also present a scholarship each year to a Canyon High School student.
And that Canyon High School student, there's been an award in the past?
Oh, yes. We've awarded, the past 6 years. It could be the past 10 years.
For quite some time.
Yes.
So one of the exciting things that I found very helpful in this is the friendliness of the homeowners.
They're wonderful.
It's odd actually because they open their home to strangers and they are completely friendly, and you might expect, well, it's a little bit weird. My wife had a real issue with walking through people's backyards at first. She's like, "Are you sure we're supposed?" Yes, and of course the gates open and they welcome you. Folks, you're going to see signs, so it will guide you as to which entrance to come in, and you're not going to generally walk through people's homes. And often there's going to be water and snacks. I've seen on occasion, and a cookie or two.
Yes.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah, Tony
even.
has given us a few samples of things from his actual garden. He had some wonderful pluot jam that I didn't bother to put on anything. I just kind of ate it right out of the jar.
Yes, I think he was the one that had actual fruit that he had cut from his garden, and you could try the different flavors of the items. Well, thank you so much for doing this for us. We really appreciate it. Tell us one more time, Sunday, May 1st?
Sunday, May 1st, and it's www.memorialgardentour.org.
memorialgardentour.org, folks. You can always go to hometownstation.com, click on Total Financial Solutions, send us a quick email, and we'll forward it off so that make sure it gets in the right spot for you. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back after these messages. Thanks to the ladies in the Memorial Garden Tour. We'll be back with some more on your Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. That's us. Arif Halaby, that's Jeff Girard on AM 1220 KHTS.